Welcome to the Traditional Way. I'm your host, Brett Shumway. This podcast is brought to you by the Martial Arts Center Network, where you can find all things martial arts related on our social media pages and the main app, available on Apple and Google stores, where you can catch up on all open circuit sport karate news with Inside Scoop, catch a movie review with Fist Kicks and Flicks, or find out what's happening in the Jiu-Jitsu and MMA worlds on the Winner's Circle, plus all the exclusive content that is only available on the app. On this episode, we are going to cover the Karate One Youth League event that was held in Fujairah, UAE on February 12th through the 15th. This event had over 2,300 athletes representing 34 countries, with Egypt and Iran bringing the most athletes to this event. And if you watched the last episode, another nation is starting to bring its numbers up is Russia. They had over 185 athletes present at this event as well. Now, one major change to the Youth League for 2026 is no more U21 divisions. The WKF has decided the Youth League will solely be a league for development, and it will focus only on the youth, leaving the U21 athletes to compete on the Series A or Premier League if they qualify. Now, the U21 age category will still be available at Continental and Junior World Championships. So let's see how the cadets and juniors did in Fujairah. The young ladies start out in the minus 47 kilogram division, where Jana Abdulrahim and Alia Ekshiolu would make it to the final, albeit both would have a couple of tough fights along the way. Both required the Hantai to get out of the elimination pools, and Abdulrahim would require it again to get out of the semifinals. In the final, they fought a close match, with Abdulrahim coming out on top by a 2-1 margin. Last year's champion, Sharvinaz Lapasova, would face off against the world number 3, Emily Poskin, in the final of the minus 54 kilogram division, with both girls having a pretty easy time getting to the finals, where Poskin would only surrender 2 points en route to the final, and Lapasova would give up 3. It was a pretty evenly matched fight in the final, where Poskin would pull out the 1-0 victory to top the podium. In the minus 61 kilogram division, newcomer Malak Hassan and world number 3, Selda Mayen, would face off in the final, where Hassan had a pretty much an up and down bracket to get there. She either won by the 8-point spread or needed the Hantai to get out of a 0-0 draw. On the other side, Mayen gave up 2 points on her first match and wouldn't surrender another point all event. In the final, they fought to a 0-0 draw, where Mayen would be awarded the Hantai and the gold medal. World number 4, Anna Baruchik, and newcomer Farah Elbers would face off in the over 61 kilogram final, with Elbers not giving up a point until the semifinal and Baruchik only surrendering 2. They entered the final match looking for their first WKF gold. In the end, it was Baruchik that would take the match 4-0. The boys start out with world number 4, Nurasil Nursi, and the world number 1, Levani Dadeshkeliani, making it to the final, where Nursi looks to repeat in this division from last year, with both of them taking out their opponents with ease on their way to the final match, where we were pretty evenly matched, and we thought it was going to be higher scoring than what it was, but it would be Nursi with the upset, winning the gold by a score of 3-1, making it 2 years in a row for him at this event. Soybov Solijan moves up in weight to face Moaz Alsaka in the minus 57 kilogram final, with both fighters only surrendering 3 points on their way to the final, and most of their points coming by the 8-point spread. We thought we would see a high-scoring affair in this final, but we were disappointed as Solijan would take home the gold after a 1-0 win in a pretty uneventful final match. Now, the minus 63 kilogram division found newcomer Abafasal Urab Akubi and the world number 2, Rodrigo Redondo, walked through the bracket without an issue to face off against each other in the final, where they'd have their first close fight of the day. And it would be an upset, as Urab Yakubi would win the match 3-2 and take home his first gold in his first WKF event. Kari Amr and Ali Gad would dominate the minus 70 kilogram division, as the two Egyptians would put on a show on their way to the final. And the two countrymen would not disappoint in that match, as they went back and forth and had the crowd on the edge of the seats the entire time. In the end, the world number 5, God, would take the match 4-3 to secure the gold medal. Egypt would dominate the over 70 kilogram division with an all-Egyptian semifinal, as the country continues to show its kumite prowess. It would be newcomer Mawaz Shams and Osama Abdu to make it to the final, where it was all Shams who won this match 6-0 to top the podium, with two of his countrymen joining him. In the female kata division, The top two emerge in the final where Natalie Goodman, make the final where Natalie Goodman and the world number one, Marielle Goutet. They would have a battle of Kusansku in the final, with Goodwin opting to run Chatnara against the Chabana of Goutet, as Goutet would show why she has the top ranking in the division, taking the final 5-0. For the males, Kin Wong and Martin Versumak both make their first WKF final, and both of them having tough matches all day in this division, as this division was packed full of talent. In the final, Wong's Anand Dai would come up short against Versumak's Super Mp, 3-2, as both athletes did get to stand on the podium for the first time in their career. Two Kumite powerhouse programs face off in the final of the minus 48 kilogram division, as Ghazal Chesme and Nouar Abdelaziz worked their way through a tough bracket to meet up in the final. They fought a tough match in the final, however, it was not as high scoring as we would have thought, with both of them showing off their defensive prowess. But it would be Chesme that would pull out the 1-0 victory and move her up into the world number 5 spot. Elisa Vachel and Veronika Gashnikova both walked through the minus 53 kilogram bracket on their way to the final. Vachel only surrendered 1 point on her way, and Gashnikova outscored her opponents 25-6. In the final, it'd be all Gashnikova who would pull out a 9-0 win and improve her win rate to over 92%. Every now and again, you see something new, and in the minus 59 kilogram division, I saw something I've never seen before. Jana El Said survived 4 straight 0-0 draws, receiving the Hantai to make it to the final against the world number 1, Hannah Sondergaard, where they would fight to a 2-2 tied match, and El Said would receive her 5th straight Hantai to win the gold, moving her up into the world number 2 ranking. Alina Petrenko and Noram El-Morsi both required the Hantai to make it out of the semifinals in a tough minus 66 kilogram division, including Petrenko getting past the world number 1 in that round. In the final, it would be Petrenko who would take the match 3-0 and secure her first WKF gold medal. In the over 66 kilogram division, Safia Nezmadinov and Roha El-Tair fought their way through close fights in the bracket to make it to the final, where it would be another close matchup for both of them, where El-Tair would win that match 1-0 to secure her first gold as a junior. Two newcomers to the junior division is Ahmed El-Sorgi and Abdurrahman Arafat both surrender only 2 points on their way to the final of the minus 55 kilogram division, and they both would give up another 2 points in the final as they fight to a 2-2 tie in that match. Arafat would win as he secured the Senshu advantage in that match, improving his win rate again to over 92%. Surab Sadullayev and Mohammed Al-Najir fight their way to the final of the minus 61 kilogram division, both hoping to win their first WKF gold medal. Both having close fights in the fights, the biggest accomplishment was Sadullayev giving Takamasa Yatoji his first ever loss in the WKF. In the final, it would be Sadullayev who would take the match by a score of 1-0 to secure the gold medal. In the minus 68 kilogram division, things we haven't seen before seem to be a theme at this event, where Hatim Al-Sarasis and the world number 1 Rayan Zouini make it to the finals, where Zouini was winning the match 4-1 when he committed too many penalties and would lose by disqualification. What was surprising was this is the second match of the day that Al-Sarasis would win in this manner, giving him his first gold as a junior. Alsobek Kobilov and Osman Khalis fought their way through a very tough minus 76 kilogram bracket to make it to the finals, with both of them having tough, close fights in the elimination rounds to make it to the semifinals, where Khalis would take over and win the gold by a score of 9-4, and this win also moves him into the world number 1 ranking. World number 2 is Hussein Ajununin and Amro Albagari would pretty much go unscathed on their way to the final of the over 76 kilogram division, with Albagari taking out the world number 1 in the semis. They move on to the finals, where these two would have a great back and forth match, but in the end, Al-Janunin would pull out the win by a score of 5-3. In the female kata division, Tamara Lerner and Zaskia Salarante work through a packed bracket to make their way to the final, with Salvaron having to take out the world number 1 in the semis to advance. In the final, it was a Godashio show of Salarente that would beat out Lerner's Paparin 4-1. Tariq Koch and Takamasa Itoji would make it to the finals in the male kata division, where the top-ranked athletes all lost in the elimination pools, leaving a wide-open semifinals. These two would face off in a Super Rempe showdown, where Itoji would get the nod 4 judges to 1 and remain perfect in the WKF in kata, with his only losses in his career in the WKF at this point coming in Kumite, which also happened at this event. The biggest takeaway from Fujairah for me had to be Egypt's performance. They medaled in 18 of the 22 divisions available, including 5 golds. They were in the final for 11 divisions, including 2 finals that both athletes were both from Egypt. But what impressed me most about them at this event was their kata performances. Look, we all know they've had one heck of a Kumite program. Their adults have been killing it for years, and that has now trickled down into the youth program that they have been successfully building up for the past couple of seasons. But now they are competitive in kata as well. They took home 4 bronze medals in the cadet and junior divisions at this event. So if there is any doubt of what a powerhouse nation Egypt has become in the past couple of seasons within the WKF, this event just showcased what they have and that they're a force to be reckoned with in now all aspects of the sport. I also want to take some time to acknowledge the performance of the U.S. team had at this event. They took home 3 medals. In Kumite, Mackenzie Mendonça took home a bronze in the cadet over 61 kilogram division, which moved her now up into the world number 4 ranking. Natalie Goodwin took home the silver in cadet kata division. And lastly, Emerson Cottingham took home a bronze in the junior kata division. Now, we're going to go into depth about Emerson's performances on the next episode, as she will sit down with me for an interview and we can discuss this event and her experiences on the WKF. So make sure that you tune in and join us for that. With that, I do want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Traditional Way. Continue to support the Martial Arts Inner Network. And if you're enjoying the app like I am, make sure you go ahead and leave a review on your respective app store. Till next time, guys.